Hi, my name is Wangyal, and I'll try to answer the questions that you sent me regarding homework in Singapore. Although I'm a teacher, I've mostly taught in senior secondary school and at university level. So I think since the conversation is about secondary and primary school students' homework, I will talk about primary school students' homework because both my kids are currently in primary school, so I think I have some knowledge about it. So the first question is, do children get homework from their teachers to do after school? If so, at what age do they start having homework? Now, if I remember correctly, when my kids were in their child care and kindergarten, I don't think they had that much homework. Once in a while, they would have some activity or something to do, but not that much homework. But since they have joined primary 1 and primary 2 school, classes, last year my older one joined primary 1, so this year she's in primary 2, and my younger one joined last year. So they're from the very beginning, after I think first 2-3 weeks, they started having homework, and they have regular homework almost every other day, or every day they have something to do. So the next question says, if so, how much time do children of different ages or different grade spend finishing their homework? Now that depends. I think my older one, she can do homework pretty fast. So even when she was in primary 1, maybe I think in a given day, half an hour, 1 hour, she'll be done with her homework. My younger one takes a bit longer. She needs more parental supervision. So I think if she completes all her homework, maybe it's around half hour to 1 hour, half hour around that most of the time. So the third question it asks, is there any official law or rule that regulates homework? I don't know whether there are any laws regulating homework, but I think in the early primary school level, I think the school tries to coordinate and make sure there is not that much homework. So I think between the teachers, they plan or something like that, so that not excessive homework is given. What are the pedagogical principles or other reasons for asking or not asking children to do it? I think some schools I heard they give quite a lot of homework. Other schools, they make sure the students are not overburdened. I think it's because they don't want children to be stressed. But once they go to higher primary level, then there's much more work. At secondary school level also, there are quite a lot of homework to do for kids in Singapore. And sometimes if you're weaker students, if the parents are educated, they can help their kids. But if they're not, then they may have to get some tuition teacher or somebody to help them. So the next question asks, what is homework usually like? The same for every child in the class or personalized work? So far, I think regular homework, I think they're all standard for all the students. The schools have their own textbooks and workbooks, plus schools print extra worksheets for students to do practice work. But certain students who need special attention or stuff, they are given some extra work. For example, my daughter is in the beginning, first 2 months of her school, I think she was not so good at reading, so the school gave her some extra material to look at, which we helped her with. Is homework voluntary or obligatory? Now, I don't know whether if you don't do homework, you get punished or penalized or anything like that, but the school my kids are going to, they have a journal, a diary kind of stuff. So every day, what homeworks or what tasks they're supposed to do, the kids have to write it down and parents have to tick and sign. So I do think it's obligatory. It's not voluntary, but I don't know whether there's any, they're severely punished if they don't do it. Or maybe the teacher will ask them to complete it next time. Since both of my kids have been doing their homework diligently, I have not come across any issues. But in school, when I did my internship at secondary school, if you give a homework, then it is compulsory. It's not voluntary. They have to do it. If they have more than one teacher at school, is homework something organized between all of them, or do they get work from each of the different teachers? I think different teachers give different homework. Yeah. And sometimes maybe students may be overtaxed with homework, but usually in my class, students, our teacher, this week you set this deadline, you have a lot of homework by this, so can you give me 1 or 2 days more? Or the class asks that, so teachers are, of course, I think, are understanding. They will try to space it out. What type of work is usually given as homework? at primary school level, I see a lot of currently in the beginning years so far, I've seen mostly projects as well as exercise sheets from textbooks, etc. There's some investigation type work like collaborative, not collaborative, what do you call that? Inquiry based tasks, but they are very like at what do you call low level, and usually these tasks are given during the holidays, like maths alive activity and stuff like that. Group work, so far I've not come across any, but I'm sure in class they do some group work, but in homework I have not seen any group work. Sometimes there are e-learning exercises and online tasks which my daughters have done and during the holidays. Any other things you find interesting? Right? I think different children have different reaction to homework. My older one likes the homework, but my younger one doesn't like doing her homework. So I think it also depends what kind of homework you design. How do children feel about homework? That I already answered. How do families feel about homework? I think homework part, if it's not a lot, then I think it's quite reasonable, and I think kids should do some kind of homework so that what they have learned in class they get a chance to apply. How do teachers feel about homework? Well, as a teacher myself, I know that every time a teacher gives out homework, he or she knows that you have to do a lot of corrections and give feedback and stuff like that. So if we can cut down on homework, I think the first person to be happy is teachers. And how do one thing I want to say is regarding families, I think some families may have problems because if the homework instructions are not so well done, it's not necessary that parents will know what is being taught and how it's being taught. So if the kids need help, it may be problematic for parents to guide them. So that's why I think there's a huge tuition culture in Singapore. But I think that with new pedagogies like flipped classroom and stuff like that, if the instruction appears in the form of video or something, then even if the students do not understand in class, I think they can use those resources to do. Okay, I think that's my part. I hope what I've shared with you is of benefit to you, and it will help you in your project. Bye-bye from Singapore. Have a good day.